All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Broadband Breakfast Live Online. This is going to be a really special show. Today, we're doing something unique. We are kind of like live streaming, cross streaming. So we're starting off in a room in Philadelphia at Net Inclusion, which is the definitive conference for all things about digital inclusion, digital equity, and how that impacts people's lives. As our viewers know, at Broadband Breakfast, our mantra, our theme is better broadband, better lives, which is all about making sure that people have the infrastructure for high capacity broadband, but it's also well used. And so if you don't mind, Angela, I'm just going to give a quick heads up to our audience about how this day is going to go. We are starting from this Zoom recording. If you are watching on any of our other channels, you are seeing the same thing we in Zoom are seeing. What will happen in about 10, 15 or so minutes is we're going to walk upstairs and we'll see what's happening on the stage at NDIA, and we'll cut over to the NDIA feed. They are doing a series of discussions. I'll let Angela say more about that. And then at 12:30, we have a great program that has been put on the Broadband Breakfast agenda there to talk about some key issues in broadband and in digital inclusion. I also want to just give a shout out to the sponsors of Broadband Breakfast. We appreciate all of them and their support. They include Utopia Fiber, Broadband Now, Broadband.money, Comcast, Michael Baker International, Ookla. I'm doing this by memory, so this is probably not a best practice, but we're grateful for all the sponsors. And at a subsequent time in this, I will put the list out so everyone can see them and give your thanks. And it's because of the support of our sponsors that we have been able to run this program for 4 years now. And I'm also just kind of so pleased. I know I'm delaying the introductions, but the guest for just a few minutes to tell us what this conference is about. And so, Angela Seifer, tell us a little bit about your journey and how that brought us to the biggest conference ever that you've hosted.
Sure, that's a big question, Drew. Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure.
This is awesome. I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to have you all live streaming the content, because then we can expose more folks to what we're doing here. So this is Net Inclusion. This is the 7th Net Inclusion. It is a conference focused on digital equity. There are places where folks talk about infrastructure. We talk about infrastructure in terms of its affordability and in terms of its use. So that comes about as we discuss the devices. Are we refurbishing? Are we buying new? Where are the devices coming from? What kind of devices? And then digital skills. How are we teaching digital skills? What are the different languages? How are we making sure that we're doing it in culturally appropriate ways? How are we reaching folks? How are we doing the outreach? And then, of course, mixed up in all of that is the policy, because the NDIA feels very strongly that federal policy can impact this work. It has impacted this work. The Affordable Connectivity Program is a program that this community cares a lot about. So a lot of very frustrated people here with losing ACP.
Well, yesterday, Jessica Rosenworcel spoke very directly about that, and that was a great message she gave here. I mean, how do you feel about this right now? Are you even the least bit optimistic, or?
I'm a little optimistic, Drew. I think there's a possibility that we can. I think there's bipartisan effort in Congress. The bigger political craziness that is occurring right now in DC is really what's keeping ACP from being refunded.
Yeah.
Because we already have the thing that we were all like, oh, we just need bipartisan support. Well,
you got it. You got it. Yeah, you got,
still don't
the most Republicans and the most Democratic.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So it's I do hold out hope that that is still can happen, because we are not stopping with the storytelling. We're not stopping with making sure that everybody knows that it's essential. And while we do that, we're also engaging in conversations about Universal Service Fund and how that needs to be modernized and how we need to change the contribution factor. So all of that policy aspect is also part of the discussions. In fact, the first panel that you'll be live streaming is federal policy representatives, because enough of our audience either is hoping to get some funding from the feds, particularly in the Digital Equity Act money, or they have already in the past.
I want to just drill down a little bit and recognizing that we will go upstairs and hear. Just before we get to that panel, there'll be I guess they're called what are they called? Like
we call them lightning rounds.
Lightning rounds, right? So what is a lightning round?
We love our lightning rounds. Yeah. So we've been doing lightning rounds since the very first Net Inclusion. And this is where we have individuals that are part of this community have, I'm going to get this wrong because it's not my job anymore, but it's like 5 slides in 3 minutes or something like that, right? So it's really quick, and it's different organizations that are in the community, and they need to share something that they think will be valuable to everybody else. Either things that they've learned or strategies that they are adopting. And it's a way for, we believe really strongly in the power of community and connections. And it's a way for folks who aren't panelists to have everybody be like, oh my gosh, I want to go talk to that person. And then that person, because they shared something that others would find valuable, all of a sudden has a bunch of folks who want to talk to them. And it so allows us to make more connections in a community where we already have panels, but this is just another way to understand.
It's great. And I know in the event we did last November, we had a kind of thing like that.
Love lightning rounds.
Yeah. Just double click down just a bit more on what is the work of digital inclusion and digital equity all about. Like, I mean, you mentioned, of course, that there's infrastructure conferences and infrastructure events, but you're distinctly not that. And so what is it that you do when you do it?
So NDIA's mission is for everyone to have access to technology to live, learn, work, and thrive. And that's really what this conference is about. It is about that access that is affordable and meets one's needs, but it's also about the use. So how to use it that really changes an individual's outcomes in life. And sometimes, or it's just about making things easier. If you have a telehealth appointment, you don't have to get in your car, you just save gas money, right? You just reduce the stress of getting to the doctor. So there's all these different ways that we all know, those of us who use technology regularly, know that that impacts us every day. But when you don't have it, it's really, it's like life alteringly bad.
What is the main impediment? And I know this is a question gets talked about a lot. Like what is in your experience the thing that just keeps that connection from happening?
We actually think that the barriers are all tied together, which is why we need holistic solutions. So if you're only providing physical access to the internet, you're not actually going to increase your broadband adoption numbers as much as you want to. You have to address the affordability, you have to address the device aspect, need to address the fact that folks need a digital navigator to help them with all this, and that they might want some digital skills training to make sure that they can use this tool in a safe way and for whatever their own purposes are. So it's hard to pull one thing out. One of the largest, though, is the affordability, which is why this community was so super into the Affordable Connectivity Program and was really helping their community members sign up, and why it's pretty devastating that we're losing it.
Yeah. Well, we want to be really respectful of your time. We're going to be walking upstairs in just about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Is there any final thoughts you want to share with the audience here, what they should take from this conference or where they should go to learn more about this?
Digitalinclusion.org is our website. There's lots there. You can find the live stream if you want to catch it tomorrow. You can find the previous things that we've already live streamed yesterday. And know that we just have a lot of resources on the website. We welcome you to join NDIA, be part of the community, because it is a place where we can move forward together.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing
that. Great to be with you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate Broadband Breakfast.
All right. And we're going to walk upstairs. I do see some questions, so I want to take a minute or two with those. Okay. And then we'll head up. So I can't hear, I can see people's comments. So thank you for those comments, except when you make comments that aren't helping us. But anyway, I hope that the sound is coming through fine. I just want to remind everyone that we are going to do something unique. Okay. So when I take the microphone upstairs, we're going to pass the stream over to what NDIA is passing through. And that may, okay, this is the key thing, that may cause those of you who are watching from Zoom to not be able to see anymore. Now, if you go to Broadband Breakfast, and I will put this on the URL for the Zoom chat right now, you can see the URL for all of our Broadband Breakfast Live Online events. This is the URL. I'm putting that in the Zoom chat. And for this event in particular, it is right here. So just go to this. If you go to that URL that I've just put in there and click on it now, you should see me. You should see what we're talking about here, because it's a restream from Zoom. Once I go upstairs, we're going to be restreaming from NDIA. Okay. And so that, as I'm warning you, may cause a cutoff of the Zoom link. It will not cause a cutoff, if everything works right, of the restream. So if you're watching this on our other platforms, on LinkedIn, on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, no need to do anything. Just stay where you are and join us as we walk up the stairs and into the room. I am just going to kind of note if there are any questions. And normally, of course, I ask you to put your, we do have some questions. Okay, thank you for putting these in here. Kimmy Way asks, I've heard that Vermont will be taking over ACP payments for low-income folks. Are other states talking about doing the same? That's a great point, Kimmy. I don't know the answer to that question, but I appreciate you raising it. This is the perfect context to do it. Dan Smith asks, how about a standard curricula for digital equity and standard devices after passing this course? I think that's also a great point. A great thought for sharing. You know, one of the things that we're trying to do in Broadband Breakfast as we build the community is incorporate courses, incorporate training. Okay, we haven't quite gotten there yet, but we're on our way. And by the way, since we last spoke, the website has gone live. And we haven't kind of done a big flashy, you know, press release launch, but you've all seen it. I recognize. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions about it or run into any difficulties or problems. Drew@breakfast.media. You can find me at that email address. And again, we really appreciate you know, so many of you turning up so frequently. I have found that it's more work to cancel than to not run it. So that's why we run it, because it's just a consistent Zoom link. People come to it, they know to come to it. And again, thank you for your point, Jeff. This adaptation, it will be a little journey. We're literally going to follow me up the escalator, and the reverse of another famous escalator ride, and we're going to walk into the room. And like I said, it is possible that our Zoom link will go. I'm going to keep it there, and I may even walk my camera up to the stand so that you don't have to give up the Zoom link if you'd prefer. So unless there are any other questions, I'm going to start to walk to the escalator. And appreciate you being with me here in Philadelphia for the Net Inclusion event of National Digital Inclusion Alliance. So here we go. Gotta practice my my YouTuber walk here. Gotta get the handle of this here. All right, here we go. We're up the escalator at National Digital Inclusion Alliance. The luncheon is still going on here. Hi, how are you? Live streaming right now. And we are walking into the hall. I see one of the speakers. Joey, we're live streaming, so they'll be talking with you, or they'll be seeing you in just a little bit. Excellent. But this is our Broadband Breakfast audience. Do you have anything you'd like to say to them?
I'm just really excited to be here, Drew.
Okay. What do you like coming to NDIA for? What's the importance of this event for you?
Digital equity is such an important part of this larger ecosystem.
Yeah.
That it's one thing to bring access to people's homes, but in so many instances, you have to overcome that adoption barrier. Right, and that's not just cost, that's about teaching digital navigation, teaching digital equity skills or digital navigation. And that's what this group, that's what these practitioners are doing.
We were just talking to Angela Seifer, and she was expressing real concern about the loss of the Affordable Connectivity Program. I asked her if there's any hope. What about you? Do you think there's any hope for the renewal of the Affordable Connectivity Program?
I think there's definitely hope. I think there's 23 million Americans that stand to lose the benefit. I think that Congress knows that. I think everybody knows that. And I'm hoping that they act on the proposal laid out by the White House.
Right. Awesome. Thanks for being with us. You'll get to hear from Joey in a little bit on the live stream. Take care. I'm gonna tell our live streamer to cut over to the NDIA feed. As I said, I will continue to do this from this feed, but for now we are going to
this article outlines the behaviors, ideologies, and more.
okay, we're ready to cut over. Okay.
Oh, right now?
Right now, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm
All right, so that was our camera guy, and he's going to cut over. So once again, it's an experiment for all of us, where you will definitely still be able to see the feed if you go to our URL that I put on this page. If you're on the Zoom feed, I'm going to walk the camera up. But first, I just want to make sure that the transition goes okay. So thanks for being with us and sticking with us, guys. This is a lot of fun, unique. Try something new.
Power recordings from study focused on redistributing primarily through redistributing power through redistributing. We avoided the consultants, so most of the data came from the committees, all of the writing was done by me, and the money we saved, we awarded the committees, not that we avoided the consulting area. The data can last as communication, always writing for relationships, money we saved.
It's fun to do a multiple source stream, but it is always a little tricky. And it's fun to do. I was a little concerned that we lose our audience in multiple channels, but we're working on it now. And let's see what happens as we move the live stream over. Lose our audience in multiple channels, but we're working on it now. And okay, I've been told it's working. Let's see on the live stream.
We are not.
Okay, I've been told it's working. Let's see. Now I may need to cut off mine because I'm still seeing my stream here. But you told it's working. It didn't. Let's see. Now I may cut off mine because I'm still seeing my stream here. Yeah. Well, we learned something new. So yeah. So my stream here. Yeah. Well, we learned something new. So all right. So this is what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to walk the microphone and the camera up to this is what I'm going to do, the front, and we will be broadcasting from there. And I'm also going to put in the URL for this page, the URL for the NDIA stream. So the event was not as successful as we had hoped, but thank you for being with us. And I am going to once again put the link that you can find it momentarily. So thanks for being with us. Meanwhile, like I said, I will walk this up to the front so you can stick with us as long as possible. So thanks for being with us. Meanwhile, like I said, I will walk this up to the front so you can stick with us as long as thanks for being with us. Thank you.
That's $37.6 million saved by households over the last 2 years of that program. So I'd encourage everyone to be able to run those up for themselves. And it highlights, especially for our elected officials, the economic impact of this program has been. Largely that money being spent right back into communities. Wanted to share too and shout out another quick partner. What's ahead for us in 2024? We're really excited to partner with Connect Humanity with the funding from the Appalachian Regional Commission to create community level connectivity plans for 3 of the counties in our region. With the ultimate goal of being able to spread that knowledge across all 16 counties that are going to be too. And I'll leave you with this a couple of quick takeaways, and hopefully you have access to these slides. But the questions you can ask to support connectivity in your own community. One, who are the partners that will lead support this work? Where is the need? We know federal data is available, but your local data and your local experts are really the key. 3, what are the potential hurdles? And think about one thing you can do when you get home. 4 is how can you effectively communicate this work across your community? So the last thing I'll say, leave you with is something that I always ask: who is missing from this work? Who is missing from the table? That's what I make sure when you get home, be thinking about that. Who might hear this be, and how can we get it back? And with that, my contact info. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Can the folks at the back at least whisper? Please. Thanks so much. Okay, good to hear. Good morning. People are saying hi. I am. Cool. All right. I'm Chrissy Powell. I am the executive director of WAVE, a community-based internet service and a digital harbor foundation out of Baltimore, Maryland. Before, yes. 25 over 3. Anyone know what this number represents? I'm pretty red that you see right over to my left. That's right. That's it. 25 megabits per second. That's really important. Okay. This was 2015. Now, if you go to speedtest.com, they said that the US's average download internet speed is 256 megabits per second. Than 2023. So we're talking about these terms here. 25 megabits per second. It's not only outdated, but it exacerbates the digital divide, not within our communities, our low-income communities, our rural communities that cannot afford or don't have access to these speeds. Getting connected to the internet is an accomplishment, absolutely an accomplishment. However, we must ensure that community are getting access to vital resources in a world where online activities such as video conferencing is required to fully participate in society, to fully participate in life. Online education, access to education, adult education, healthcare, access to telehealth, appointments, and workforce. We're not just talking remote jobs for those of us who have the privilege of working remote jobs, but we're talking about being able to get a job, doing virtual interviews, which are a thing of the now. 25 over 3 days, 25 days is not sufficient. In November 2020, the FCC did announce an NOI, which is really exciting. And this NOI talks about increasing the speed standard. It also talks about increasing the future global and universal speed. This NOI proposes to increase its benchmark from 25 to 100 megabits per second. That's exciting. It's really exciting. It's progress. But you know, the history, I would say, the FCC in its previous reports and current reports haven't quite been transparent. They haven't necessarily been consistent. So we are hoping that that's going to change over time. But how are we going to get from a speed from 25 megabits per second to this proposed potential and hopeful 100 megabits per second. How are we gonna do it? Well, what if we have a database model for the consumer price index model? For those who don't know what the consumer price index model is, it calculates the rates of inflation and it can help determine if changes the program such as what cost of living and we have to work with the database model the baseline definition of broadband speeds that can be automatically updated on an annual basis, on a regular basis. A broadband speed index sounds good. How could this work? How could this broadband speed index work? Well, what if we had someone who analyzed the data and feedback, something like upcoming broadband release? We have talked about the nutrition. All ISPs this year are going to be required to follow. Yes. So what if we have the data and feedback from these nutrition labels? And based on this data, created a formula to be developed to allow for predictable and scattered updates to define FCC's definition of high-speed internet. All we have to do is what? All we have to do is find a researcher, find a little funding. I'm sure we might have some researchers in the building here. We have to do it and have this speed index that will inform us which transparency will allow FCC to be fully transparent. We know what's coming. We know that there's an equitable speed for all Americans, which is super exciting to me. So I would love to see a show of hands for the new speed broadband speed index. About this potential broadband speed index, raise your hand. I'm so excited about this opportunity. So yes, broadband speed index. Let's do it. Let's put our heads together. Let's put our minds together. Let's put our voices together and propose a high-speed broadband speed index for the FCC to take us where we need to go years to come in a transparent manner. That's all I have to go today. I appreciate it.